Malik. Um, you and I were just catching up just as friends, old times, talking about what's going on with life. And then we kind of got into business. As I was explaining, we do this thing called Behind Closed Doors. We're so lucky to get to interact with the most fascinating people on the planet every day. And a lot of these conversations happen behind closed doors. You just said something that I haven't heard, something that your father told you as you were growing up. I'd love you to kind of unpack what this statement means, and in particular, as it relates to business. You said always run your AC in the wintertime.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first I want to say thank you. Two, I want to say I just want a huge discount on fascination. I'm only in this because I know you and have known you for a while. So like, it makes people less fascinating over time, the longer you know them, I think. Um, but yeah, so really the what we were sharing is related to, how do you keep an eye out? How do you think about what qualifies as doing a good job, right? How do you know for yourself how to maintain or do the things that you want to do, and also have a forward-looking approach on quality, proficiency, but also, I think a value system around like excellence and maintaining excellence. And so, yeah, the thing I was sharing is that my dad told me this a number of years ago. I was fortunate enough to like inherit, you know, one of his cars that was like his baby. Um, and I got it in great condition because he's the kind of person who does all of his own work and cares about the things that he puts money into and sees them as investments, right? And I think that's the reason why we're bringing this up, and that's the reason why the story came to me. But one of the things he told me when I took over that car was, and Wills, you'll appreciate it, was a '95 Maxima stick shift, um,
6 speed,
and
5 speed.
6 speed. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, he would always say, make sure you're running your AC in the wintertime. And I sort of didn't understand initially. And obviously, like, just his experience of working on cars was like in the back of his mind. But he would basically say the explanation was like those rubber seals, they don't last. They don't last very long. And particularly if you're trying to maintain a car that you care about in working condition for a long time, then and I should say, the other part of this is that I inherited this car when I was 10 years old. I drove it around and people thought it was like the best kept car ever, right? There were people who tried to buy this car literally from me um, on the street multiple times. And so part of the reason he was saying that is also I was sitting in the car recognizing the condition that it was in. And he was like, and if you want that, and if you want to keep it that way, you run your AC in the wintertime, and partly because those seals, they break down over time. And so most people only think of AC as a thing that they need during the summer. Um, but part of the story and part of what our discussion was leading to is this idea that if you want to maintain the things that you care about, sometimes you have to be thinking about them when you're not actually using them,
Mhm.
right? And so there are always going to be, three or four things top of mind, but then there are also the things that I think, you want to be thinking about that you're going to need in the future, but it's also how do I make sure that they're running appropriately now? How do I make sure that they're being maintained in this moment? And so, yeah, you always tell me make sure you run your AC 2 to 3 times during the winter. He was like, you don't have to be in the cold. Just turn it on, turn the AC on. Um, and yeah, if you do that, you'll be able to have this car 20 years from now, 10 years from now. Um, and the AC won't be a problem.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it feels very relevant to a lot of, companies thinking about how to future proof their business. And in particular, given what we've gone through in the last few years, stuff will happen, right? So like how do you just make sure that those muscles are trained and ready for when stuff does happen, even if you're focused on like, four other more important things at the moment.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking.